Hi, my name's Jason Young. I'm a professional life coach. In this video, I just want to talk to you about my Change Your Life in 2021 course that I'm offering to a very selected and limited number of people that wish to really bite the bullet and really change their life quite phenomenally during 2021. It's a one-year course, and throughout that year we will work together on various aspects of changing your life, and so 2022 and onwards will be a life which perhaps you thought was not possible to be lived before. Now, if we think about it, think about people that have had, like, they've nearly lost their life, whether that's been in an accident or through a disease of some sort or some other significant event. I mean, we've all know these people, right? Or if not, you've heard about them or you've read about them. And these events in people's lives enable them afterwards to see life from a different perspective. And very commonly, the common phrase that comes out of all of these examples is, you only have one life. And all of these people, when you read about them or you hear about them, all of these people, as I said, they change their perspective on life going forward, and they start to play full out, if you like. They really live their life to extremes. They play full out in every domain of their life, as if this week was the last week of their life. Because they've been there, they've felt that already, and now they understand how precious life is, how delicate life is, and what a great gift life actually is to all of us that have it. Now, as I'm shooting this video, guys, we are living through one of the most unprecedented times of our lifetime, and that's the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I actually think the COVID-19, I mean, you know, everything's a gift. Doesn't matter how dreadful, how terrible, how bad something may look or feel at the time, there's always a gift in there somewhere. And the gift of COVID-19 is a gift to the rest of us. The same message that these other people have experienced, the same message that we only have one life. We start to appreciate now the life we had before the lockdown, before the restrictions. And we start to understand how delicate life is. And we start to talk about when we get back to normal. Well, I don't know, guys, whether we're ever going to get back to normal. But what I do know is that this message should not be wasted. Okay, we only get one life, and we really need to play full out. We need to make the most of the life that we have. And another message that COVID has brought home to us is perhaps, or the gift that it's given us is, where before I don't have time to do this, I want to do that, but I don't have time. I should do that, but I don't have time. Guys, during now in COVID-19, one thing that most of us have been given is the gift of extra time. And also space. We have extra space. And some of us may also have an extra reason, for whatever reason that may be. COVID has brought to you a reason why now should be the time, must be the time, that it's time to change your life. Now, people always say to me, oh, you know, I want to change, but, you know, it's not easy. Or I will change, or they will change, just need to give it time. That's true. Change, the full process of change does take time. But do you know how quick change really takes place in its fundamental framework? The same as the blink of an eye, guys. Just like that, change takes place, because real change happens the moment you make that psychological decision to change. Now, what happens is that very often when we make that decision, and this is why people attach a long duration to the process of change, because what they do is they attach the duration before that decision. Now, that duration will be suffering and pain. Now, that might sound quite dramatic. Now, it depends on obviously what we're talking about changing, but to some degree there will be an element of suffering or pain beforehand, and then eventually that threshold is hit. You don't want to live your life like that anymore. Okay, so you make that final decision, you finally break through, you make that decision, and you decide fundamentally, psychologically, to change. Okay, so you decide to have a new perspective on whatever the situation may be, and you decide to end the suffering. You will accept no more suffering. And so you make that decision. Now, that's the psychological aspect. But change, the whole process of change, as I said, it begins there, and that is perhaps the most important part, is that actual real decision to change. But fundamentally, you then need to back it up by taking that change into the physical. You need to physically act out that psychological decision. And it's only through that continued process that you form new habits, new ways of living, and that then that new lifestyle, the change is actually sustained. Now, we all know people that have made decisions to change before, right? And they've been unsuccessful. Now, some people say, oh, it was a shallow decision. They didn't really mean it. Well, not always. Sometimes people do make a decision. They do. Let's talk about maybe giving up smoking, giving up drinking, eating the wrong foods, maybe starting working in a better way, working out, whatever it may be. People do make these decisions, but for some reason they just don't seem to be able to make those changes, or they make the changes for a short time, but they're not sustained. Now, why is that? Well, fundamentally, guys, there's two issues where people don't carry out those changes and sustain them ongoing. Now, one is a psychological issue, and that is that very often there is something holding us back. Okay, so we'll make the changes and we'll do our best, we will try, but then we'll hit procrastination. Okay, we don't have the same motivation, but we get distracted and we do other things, and suddenly this great emphasis of change starts to go down, and the power is gone. Or something else, something blocks us, we start to achieve, and then for whatever reason, again, we get distracted, or it looks like we're distracted, but fundamentally something is blocking us and stopping us from progressing. So if you like, another word for that could be self-sabotage. Now, so that's a psychological issue. The second issue is pure discipline. Okay, you need to be accountable to yourself. You need to have the discipline in place to make these physical changes, to carry out these processes, to make sure the new behavior is sustained. So you need discipline and accountability. Now, for sure, most of these psychological issues, so the self-sabotage, the procrastination, they're not conscious things that we're aware of, right? So they're just things that happen. And then the accountability, many of us are not really accountable enough as we should be. We're not disciplined enough. It's just not how we're wired, right? Luckily, I am that type of person. So luckily, I've been able to achieve many things in my life. But if you're not that type of person and you don't have the discipline, you don't have self-accountability, then for sure you will not achieve many of the things that you set out to achieve. So there are the two issues, guys, psychologically and the accountability. Now, most coaches and coaching programs they look at taking you from where you are in the present to somewhere you want to be in the future, right? And that's exactly what I do. You know, my whole practice is built around transformational coaching. Now, that doesn't matter what subject you put it into. I'm basically taking you also from a place that you are now to a place that you want to be. It's usually on a higher level, a better quality of life, or some goal or aspect that you want to change or achieve. So, but what I want to portray to you today in this video is that I feel very strongly, and most coaches, guys, they're not trained, and the coaching models they use do not pay too much emphasis on the past. Now, I'm the opposite to that. I mean, that's for sure. We focus on where we're going. That's where you want to be looking, but you also need to be aware of what's hindering you from behind. And so what I want to tell you is that in my coaching practice, for those of you that don't know, when I first started many years ago, I was more of a therapist than a coach. And so I'm very lucky to have the experience, the knowledge, the skills, and that foundation of training to be able to now integrate that into modern day coaching. So what I do is I do look at your past, your present, and the future. So we look at the past pieces. I mean, there will be traumas. There'll be traumas and events that have happened to you before, which whether you know it or not, you're still carrying with you today. And these are the things that cause the procrastination. These are the things that will hinder your progress or even sabotage your progress completely. So just want to get that over to you guys. I mean, all coaches will give you insight. So they'll give you insight, deeper insight, perhaps deeper understanding. They don't go as deep as we go, but they will give you some insight. All coaches give you a different perspective, and that's very important. So it's always good to have a different perspective, looking at things from a different way, because very often that will bring new light on a subject and create new ideas and ideas to go forward. And then also what all coaches should be doing is pushing you, okay? Giving you a kick up the arse, as we say in England. Because this is important, guys. The one thing, part of the survival technique is that we don't push ourselves enough, okay? We are naturally wired to conserve energy, okay? To keep things normal, to keep things the same. We don't push our boundaries. We don't go outside of our comfort zone. And what you really need, if you're going to achieve, if you're going to go outside of the comfort zone, you need someone to push you there. Because most of the time, you will not do it yourself, guys. So a coach will push you and make sure that you're pushing those boundaries, you're reaching new heights, you're achieving those milestones, and the journey is progressing as it needs to. And then also, like we mentioned earlier, a good coach will give you accountability. Okay, so he's keeping you on that track, making sure you're on the right track, making sure you're not drifting off one way or another, pushing you, making sure you're not slowing down, and making you accountable for the goals and the process set out that you need to achieve. Now, people always say to me, okay, that's great, but what specifically do you work on? Like 1 year is a long time, right? So let me cover both of those questions, if you like. So first of all, 1 year is a long time. I don't think so. You know, I'm with you every step of the way. I'm doing the work and you're doing the work. And 1 year, guys, is not a long time for the work that we need to do. If you look at it, okay, sometimes people think, oh, it's a whole year, it's a long time. This 1 year changes your life forever and a lot, right? So how I want you to look at this 1 year is it's actually just 1 year from your life. Now, you've had so many years of your life already, and obviously it depends how old you are as to how many you've had, but that's gone. Okay, now whether you've had a good time or a bad time, it could always be better. what you have now, what you have left is the rest of your life. Okay? And this is just 1 year that we need to invest to ensure the rest of your life is better than you ever thought was possible. Now, I'm not unreasonable, this is not some bullshit course. It's not, lose half your weight in 60 days or double your income in 1 month. It's not one of those courses. What this course is a 1 year extensive course looking into the main areas of your life. And guys, what I say is, okay, look, if we can improve each area of your life just 1% per week, 1% per week, it's reasonable, right? So those of you that are mathematicians, here's the challenge for you. And with the law of compounded interest, after 1 year of work at 1% per week, after that 1 year, what percentage of improvement and increase would you experience after 1 year? Now, I won't spoil it for the mathematicians, but what I can tell the rest of us is that it's more than 60%. Now, that's very good odds. So what I want you to consider is, if I was to come to you with a business deal, right? And I was to say to you, okay, I have this opportunity, and if you want to invest, you just invest for 1 year, just give it 1 year initially, and after 1 year, I'll give you a return of 60%. Would you invest? I know I would. I mean, especially in these times now, 60% return on investment in 1 year is phenomenal, guys. Fantastic return. So think about that. When it's a business investment, everyone's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. What about investing in you, investing in yourself, investing in your life? Just 1 year investment into making the rest of your life the best life you could ever wish for. Now, let's go back. Let's focus on, okay, what do we actually specifically look at within that 1 year period? So what we do, guys, is we focus on a few areas. So there's 5 main areas, and one is one that I've talked about already, and that's previous pain. So I want to look at, explore and understand any previous pain that you're still carrying with you here and now in your life today. And we look at to eradicate that, we destroy any self-limiting beliefs, and we build your self-confidence. We get you into a better, stronger, more confident person. Now, the second thing that we look at is your relationships. Now, it doesn't matter what aspect of your life, whether it's your family, your working area, relationships are in every part of your life. Now think about the different relationships that we have. So you have your spouse or your partner, you might have children, you have parents, aunts, uncles, then you have the people at work, your friends. There's loads of relationships, guys, and it's often said that the quality of your relationships is actually the quality of your life. So relationships is very, very important. And then also we look at career. Now, a career might be something that you do as employment. So you might have your own business, or you might work for somebody else. You're employed and you're making money. You might also be a housewife. You might be a full-time mum. It doesn't matter what your chosen career is, there's always room for improvement, right? Even as a mum, there's room for improvement to raise the bar, take things to a higher level, and get much more back in return. Okay, and then on that subject of career, so if you're an executive or you're working for someone, you are actually earning money, then money is the next subject that we also look into. Because also, I'm sure you'll agree, money is a very big aspect of our lives also. Now, we all heard the cliche, money is the root to all evil, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, money specifically doesn't buy happiness. And money specifically is not the root to all evil. Okay, money, in my experience, and all of the things that I've learned from working with people about money, money is a necessity, guys. The more money you have, the more security you have, and the more security you have, the better chances you have to then expand and grow from that security. And it obviously opens more doors to you, more opportunities. And so money is a very important aspect of our lives. And so what we look at is, what's your relationship to money? Again, in previous pain, have you been any events which has affected your relationship with money in a negative way? We look to repair that and to give you a much better, stronger relationship with money. We look to mend any issues that you currently have with money. And then we look at how we can increase your income, to boost your income, improve that, to be able to earn more and more money. And then the best ways to look at building a financial secure future for you ongoing. Now, the last one, and by no means is it least, guys, is health. And again, the old cliche, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And this is so, so true, guys. So think about it also. If you don't have your health, then you don't have your career. Your career may well be handicapped by ill health. And if you don't have your career, then perhaps you don't have the money or the possibility or opportunity to make the money that you want to make. Okay, and then if you don't have the money, then this will affect the quality of your life, the quality of your family's life, and this will begin to affect your relationships. And so there we are again. We create new pain, and the quality of your whole life is not feeling very good. Okay, and that all comes from having ill health. So health is of paramount importance, guys. And what I want to portray to you really here is that when people generally come for life coaching, right, very often they will come to work on one segment of their life. So they think everything's okay, but you know, my relationship's crap, or my relationship with my wife is great, but the relationship with my 2 children is not so good, or vice versa. You know, I've got 2 great kids, but me and my wife, it's just not working anymore. They might come for just health. So yeah, I have my own business where I make good money, everything's fine, I've got a great family, but I know I'm in very bad shape, and I'm scared that if I don't fix things soon, then all of these other things are not gonna mean anything anymore, because you know, things could be very drastic for me. So people come to work on one aspect of their life, but what they find is that an automatic consequence of improving one aspect of your life automatically has a rippling effect through the other parts of your life, and they automatically also become better. Now, imagine, guys, let's go through those different points again, right? Previous pain and trauma, relationships, your career, money, and health. You see, I've used my fingers to go through those. Previous pain, relationships, career, money, and health. All of these are on this hand. And that's the same, that all of those points, guys, all of those sectors of your life are all interrelated. Each one of them overlaps one of the others. So they're all interconnected, okay? We've already said, if you have bad health, it will affect the other areas of your life. If you have bad relationships, it will affect other areas of your life. If you have a bad financial situation, it will affect the other areas of your life, and so on. Okay, so if you move one finger, it's very hard to move one finger without one of the others or a few of the others also moving. So let's get back to the point where we talked about the 60 says the 60 whatever percent it is, the 60% for argument's sake return in 1 year, imagine what that's like when we are focusing specifically on every single one of those main and most important areas of your life. A 60% improvement in 1 year in every single one of those areas, guys, let me tell you, that is a phenomenal difference, a phenomenal change. Now, I can't emphasize how much more beautiful your life can become if you make those changes. And if you want to take that further, so it doesn't matter whether you want to continue after 1 year. Some people, they want to continue to work with me. It doesn't matter whether you do or not. If you don't, that's fine. You will know enough things. You'll have the strategies, techniques, and knowledge in place to be able to carry out those improvements continuously. So continue at your 1% a week throughout the next year. And again, mathematicians, you can work it out. You don't need to be going too much longer before you've doubled the quality of your life. Okay, so that's really something to think about. Now, guys, I can't emphasize enough, the quality of this course is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I will tell you, it's obviously a course that I devise, I run the course, I have the tools, experience, the knowledge, the understanding, the strategies, I have all of that. But you fundamentally need to do as much, if not more work than I do. Okay? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a change your life in 30 days. It's a 1 year extensive course and it changes your life forever. Okay, so guys, if you're serious, as I said before, I can only offer this to a limited select number of people. So if this is something that you are considering very seriously, if you want to accept this gift from COVID-19, that now is the time, now is the opportunity to change your life, to take your life to another level for you and all of those around you, then take the time, the space, the reason, whatever it is that's in the back of your mind now. Let that come to the front of your mind. And like we said in the beginning of this video, if this is for you, if this is the time, if you're really ready to do this, guys, make the decision right now. Okay, so guys, if this sounds exciting for you, then please get in touch. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.